Welcome to episode number 33 of the Unmapped podcast. On this podcast, we talk about life, upbringing, education, ideas, morals, current events, politics, passions, and more. My guest today is Irving, and we're going to be talking about everything and specifically focusing on his passion for dance.
Something like that, yeah.
All right, so let me explain it to you. What I like doing is getting the full story of like someone's chronology, like their timeline from like kind of like where they started to where they are. So I think to really get everything, we need to start at like your parents' origin stories, a little bit about them, your upbringing through childhood, so elementary, middle school, the high school you went to, and then focusing more on how you went from your high school to getting to Stony Brook University, and then we'll start talking about college. And along the way, I kind of want a little bit of a focus on dance because I know that that's a big passion of yours, and I think that's definitely had like a big impact on everything you've done until now.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, like I'll probably throw a little bit in like my passion about like teaching too, because that has to do a lot with like everything that's happening. But yeah, so I mean, you just want me to start?
Yeah, just go for it.
Yeah, cool. I mean, so let's see. My parents, so they're both from Taiwan.
Okay.
And so my mom and dad both were like dirt poor. My mom grew up on a farm, and my dad grew up somewhere. So like, damn. It's hard to talk about, like, it's hard for me to find like exactly what happened, because like
it's kind of like hazy, like you don't really know.
Yeah, they don't really talk about that stuff coming from like traditional, Asian parents. They don't really talk about themselves like that. And so well, I mean, my mom, she had to drop out of high school. No, sorry. She went through high school, didn't go to college because she had to work for the family.
So your mom went to high school in the U.S.?
In Taiwan, actually.
Taiwan, okay,
yeah.
Okay.
They immigrated here about 30 years ago.
Okay.
And they're around like 50, 60 now.
So like in their early 20s?
I would want to say it might be a little later than that, actually.
Okay,
like, that's the thing. It's so hazy, bro. They don't talk about this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, my dad finished middle school, and then he went to the military.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so his education, like, not there. But he went to the military, and he was like a taekwondo instructor for...
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, that's interesting as fuck.
Yeah, no, dude, my dad's story is like really interesting, but he never uttered a single word about it. And I literally, I looked through scrapbooks. I like dig up his scrapbooks, and then I found out like, what the fuck? Like, this is my dad? Yeah. He used to be like one of the greatest. What a weird word to use. But like, he used to be like one of the best like practitioners on the island.
Really?
Like,
wow.
He taught, and then one day he fucked up his hip, I think. Fucked up his hip.
He just like never went back to it?
Yeah, ruined his career. Like, he couldn't go back to it without risking something, And so he's lived a really hard life. Like, he was like always like disciplined kind of guy. Obviously going to the military, becoming a martial arts instructor. He's big on discipline, and he has a hard time, I guess, like working with people. And so that's really him. And he wasn't...
Do you think it's working with people, or like working with people who kind of don't have the same mentality?
Could he? I think this is what I mean. He has a problem with incompetence.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, he'll come home from work and it just be like bitching about his coworkers all day.
No, my dad's like that, because my dad's been in the NYPD for like 15 years.
Oh, dude.
But like he's a supervisor now, but like when he sees like some of the people around him, he's like, they're not doing anything. Like, I don't get why they're not doing anything. Like, should be doing something.
Yeah.
And he worked his way up because he did something,
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, and that's what the positions like higher up are there for, is people who actually care.
Exactly.
It's like, it's crazy sometimes where it's like, yo, we really pay these people.
Yeah.
Right? And it's kind of hard. But that's honestly just the reality. Like, dude, my experience here, and I guess it's just like going into college a little bit.
Yeah.
But dude, when I was contacting the offices here for like grad school and stuff like that, my courses,
they're really bad. They're really bad at their job.
Oh my God, you fucking right. Absolutely fucking right, man. Like, literally, it was like, dude, I would get left on red, for lack of better terms. Like, I would get left on red with all my emails.
Also, like, I had this conversation with James and Pravin, and one of our friends. He transferred here from Boston College. He was telling us how in Boston College, when he was a freshman there, the advisors would only have about 10 students that they'd work with. So they hold your hand through the process. Like, they would get lunch and help you schedule, like, with you, Like they buy you lunch, take you out, and help you make your schedule and stuff like that. And we're talking about the resources here. It's like they couldn't give less of a fuck about like what happened to you.
A fact, dude.
And it's messed up.
Yeah, no, because I work with a lot of them as an orientation leader.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, bro, I'm telling you, without the OL, sometimes these kids would be fucked.
What's the OL?
Orientation leader.
Okay, orientation leader. Okay.
And so like,
is that thunder?
Yeah, that's thunder, yo.
Dude, that thunder's been going on for like 10 seconds. This is coming through the mic. I was like, holy shit.
Damn.
Crazy.
Oh, you're hearing everything.
Yeah, I hear it through the thing.
Yeah.
But I thought there was someone moving a chair outside, but it kept going. I was like, who's moving a chair for that long?
Yeah, that was a long ass.
It's gonna storm pretty bad. Okay, anyways, keep going.
I mean, it's just like hard because there's so many students that come in, you know?
Right.
You can't always fall in love with every one of them.
It's still going.
It is still going.
Gee, that looks like a nuke is about to happen.
Yo.
Like, what is going? Is North Korea like on? Okay,
I'm gonna. They shook hands already.
Yeah.
They shook hands.
Actually, no. I saw it on the news earlier today that they might not go to the meeting. I think it was scheduled for June or July because of the fact that there's still South Korean military activity going on that's in relation with the U.S. Oh, man. But let's keep it on the bright note. Let's keep it on the bright note.
That's crazy.
Just talking about your dad, work ethic, OL leaders. That's where we were at.
Yeah. I mean, that was basically it. It's just it's hard because we got so many students here.
Yeah, and not enough resources.
Exactly.
It's just the proportion. Yeah, the proportion of like students to leaders is just it's too high.
Yeah. I mean, you got the money to pay everybody. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So, did your parents meet in the U.S. or did they meet in Taiwan?
They met in Taiwan.
Okay.
Yeah, and they came here to start a family. So, I mean, that was pretty nice. It was really rough for them. Mm-hmm. Like, you didn't know drop of English kind of thing.
Right.
Like, they just found whatever jobs they could, stuck with it, and wrote it.
Yeah.
And, like, I honestly, like, the more I learned growing up, like, the more I was like, how the fuck did you guys do this?
No, that's straight facts. That's
really.
Because I've had a lot of guests on who've had, like, immigrant parents.
Yeah.
That's a lot of us right now. And every single one's like, yeah, like, my parents just came here, had no idea what was going on. And like they just made it happen.
Exactly.
Peter's mom actually she immigrated here with 2 daughters, didn't know any English, just came to the U.S.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's crazy,
especially with the kids.
And like there's people our age that are worried about all this stuff. It's like just work and you'll be fine. Like our parents just put in the work and look where they are. You know, for a lot of us, not for everyone, but for a lot of us who have like established parents and like have found a foundation. It's like they can do it. Like you can do it too. Just keep working. And
it's hard to keep in perspective for some people, you know what I mean? Like, and it's also a big reason, like, why it's also hard for us, like, immigrant kids to, like, understand people's, like, you know, struggles sometimes. Because it's just like, what? Just fucking do it. Yeah. You know? And, that's something I struggle with today, too. Like, when you see some people and it's like, oh, man, like, I don't know if I can make this happen. It's like, what do you mean? You just put in the time. Exactly.
Just put in the time and you'll make it happen. But some people just don't have it. So some people don't have that immigrant mentality. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it doesn't exactly come with experience, you know? It's either you, like, have the mindset or you don't. Yeah. And like, well, I mean, the thing is, like, being an RA taught me, like, you know, no matter what, like, if I'm angry or you're angry, it's both the same emotion. Yeah. It could be about different things, so, like, I can't invalidate you on that. So that's true. I mean, it's their perspective is completely different from ours. That's just like the disclaimer, you know. What I mean? I don't want to be like, man, fuck all y'all that can't put in the work. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, everyone's at a different walk of life. Exactly, everyone's doing something different. That's a huge thing. So, did your parents, when they came to the U.S., did they come and kind of settle in one spot, found their foundation pretty quickly, or did they move around a lot? I guess we only did one move, and it was, we used to live in Queens. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Yeah, up until I was around. What part of Queens? We were around, I'm not sure exactly the area, but, like, we were around Casino Park. Oh, okay. I know where that is. Yeah. That's not that far from me. I don't live in Queens anymore, but I used to live in Richmond Hill. I'd say it's like 15, 20 minutes from Casino Park. Oh, word? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, hey, so you understand the whole Queens thing. Yeah. I mean, like, I may have moved to Long Island, but I still, you know, I still fucks with Queens. Oh, dude, if someone asked me today, like, if they're like, oh, where are you from? I'll be like, I'm from the city. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm from Nassau County. No, I'm from the city. Right? I'm not going to. Nassau County sounds boring. It sounds boring. Exactly. It's not the same. Yeah, I'm from Nassau County. Oh, fuck me, dude. Yeah, but... but the crazy thing, the funny thing, dude, I mean, like, this also could have been a blessing because that kept me out, like, you know, street life and, like, being a bad kid and shit. Right.
because I totally could have seen myself being one. But it was funny.
Really?
Yeah, I totally. Honestly, I get really influenced by the people around me and their lifestyles. So like, I totally could have been like on the streets and drugs and shit.
All that stuff.
Yeah, but I got saved.
Also, in the city, I mean, there is a lot more of a population that could influence you. Like
exactly.
Like there's the population density is a lot higher, so you just are around more people. So probability wise, you're gonna find more people that are like bad seeds.
Exactly.
So I mean, you can't do anything about that. Like when you're in that environment, you just have to hope for the best.
Yeah, it's not like when you're a kid, you're gonna be like, "Oh, I know exactly."
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of thing, you know. Yeah.
So when did you? So your parents originally were in Queens or Kissimmee Park. So when did you move out from that area?
We moved out when I was around. Maybe when I was around like 4 or something.
Oh, this was pretty early on.
Yeah, it was pretty early on, and it was like oh my god, I laugh about it even though I shouldn't. But like it was because one day my dad was walking around the park and he heard gunshots.
Oh,
and then he went home and he was like, "We getting the
fuck
fuck out of here.
We're done. This is it."
Exactly. We getting the fuck out of here, dude.
Oh my god.
And so we moved to Limbrook. Nassau County.
Okay. Oh, so you're in Nassau County too now.
Yeah, I'm
okay.
Nassau. Yeah, that's why I understand what you're talking about. Wait, where are you from?
I'm in New Hyde Park. So like I'm like the cusp of like Queens starting into Nassau County. Yeah, so it's not that bad. It could have been worse because my area is still like pretty densely populated. Like there's a good amount of people, and like I can get to places without having to take a car, which I think is big.
Nice.
Because there are parts of Long Island where it's like you can't go anywhere without a car.
Yeah, exactly.
And like I couldn't live there.
I feel you, dude. Yeah, no, so like we moved into this white ass neighborhood and like basically grew up there. And like I want to mention the taxes in that.
Taxes are really high.
Yes.
But I mean, I think it's worth it. I actually had this conversation with my uncle recently. It's like talking about the schooling system differences. The only reason I had a good education, I'd say I got lucky, but it was my parents pushing me and all that. But like getting into a specialized high school, like that changed the course of my life.
Which one?
I went to QHSS.
Oh, okay,
the one at York College.
Yeah, I know.
So if I didn't go to that school, I would have ended up at a public school.
Yeah.
Probably would have ended up with bad influences. Probably would have gone down a completely different route.
Yeah.
But like I got lucky and I ended up at a good school. But like now seeing my brother now, like he won't have that influence. Like everyone in the school is like pretty like well off. Like they're coming from good families. Like the parents care way more.
Nice.
And having high taxes have a better schooling system.
Exactly.
His school has so many resources. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's amazing because like. I used to fuck around in like a research lab. I used to do a lot of research in high school.
Really? Okay, so I had that conversation with Pravin recently, and I was saying how I think research is pretty uncommon among high school students, but surprisingly, I'm finding more and more people that have done research in high school.
Yeah, I mean, being on the island, I don't know if like the people you talk to are from the island.
Not that well. Pravin he's from Westchester. So he got the opportunity there, but
yeah, that's so cool.
Who did I talk to? Peter went to community. He didn't do research.
Yeah. Actually,
I don't think I've talked to that many people from the island. But so like, what research did you do in high school?
I did a lot of like okay, so generally it was around like plants and stuff like that, but we work with like protein biochemistry, and stuff like that. So I love that shit.
It's very specific.
Yeah, exactly. But like I talked to a lot of people because I used to go to tutoring courses in the city because that was where my mom worked. Okay. And I would try and talk to them about like, oh hey, did anybody do research here? And like, nah.
What age was this?
I was in high school. Okay. All of high school. Okay. I would like, because that's when I started research. And then like, I'll be like, hey, yo, anybody research? And literally fucking crickets. Right? And it was like, I didn't realize because my taxes were so high. And I used to hear my parents complain about it all the time. Yeah. That's what gets you, the resources you need. Yeah. And like, it's funny because I used to hear about my parents complain about that. And they're like, oh, the tax is so fucking high here. I'm like, oh, so why did we move? And then my parents actually get offended when I say that. Because they're like, we moved because like you. Yeah.
My brother's in that same situation. He's 14, so he's about to start high school. Damn. And like whenever my parents are talking about, it's like, oh, everything's expensive, everything's this and that. My brother's like, it's like, oh, like we're poor. Why did we decide to come here? And like we look at him, and I'm like, I'm gonna smack you. Yeah, like we're here for you, like because you'll get more stuff here. But like he doesn't understand that. Yeah, he doesn't get that difference. Like he sees the difference in like our lifestyle now, but to him it's not like a huge difference. Like really, because he's still playing games on the same TV. Yeah, that's true. Like he's going out, but like it's not that like he doesn't see the actual environment shift as well as like someone like me. It's like my parents actually moved in my junior year of college. So this is pretty recent. So one weekend I go home, go to Richmond Hill, next week I go to Long Island, and like I like started walking around my neighborhood. I started like seeing all the houses, all the people. And I'm like, holy crap!
Yeah,
this is a different world.
Exactly.
It's just completely different. Like this environment is like not what I'm used to. Exactly. And like he doesn't see that, because to him it's just like just in another house. It's the same shit at a different house.
Yeah.
And like he doesn't understand it. He'll get it when he's older, I hope.
Exactly. That's the crazy thing, because like kids these days, they can be young as fuck, but they can be like, I know the whole world like the back of my hand. There ain't nothing else to learn. It's crazy once you just go out.
It's because they're so adjusted to just, I can just Google everything. So they assume they know everything. And I'm not going to lie, I was like that too when I was a kid.
Same.
Not to the same extent as it is now. I was still like that. But like the fact that he can Google everything, he assumes like that triumphs all experience.
Yeah,
And I used to think that when I was younger too. I was like, like what do you guys know? Like you're from like, back home. Like you're not that educated. And like I think about it now, it's like it doesn't matter. Like their experience and just like doing things trumps me being educated in the U.S.
It's the
exposure. It doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly.
Whew. Let's see.
So we're at high school now. We kind of skipped over like middle school and elementary school, but I don't know if there's anything that's really important. I think the important factor is the fact that you were in Nassau County. But other than that, I don't know if there's anything you'd like to point out.
I mean, generally, it was just like tough time in the family. It was like we were, trying to get the funds and shit like that. We're moving into a new house. Parents working on and off. I'm talking about almost every fucking day. Like my dad, all the way up until I think I hit college, he worked 14 hours a day.
Jeez.
1 day off the week. So
God,
and
that's work ethic.
Exactly, it took a huge toll on him, and during like growing up and stuff like that, we run into a lot of family problems, and especially it was just like, it was just really hard, It was like the hard times and shit like that.
Right.
I was going to school. I was like the only Asian kid among like 3 others in our school. I got bullied a shit ton. And so
really, you got bullied for
I had a
Asian?
fair share of my fucking bullying, boy.
Damn.
Yeah, dude. And it was like even in the family, because my cousins were like.
So what would they say for like being? Because this is the first time I've actually heard being bullied for being Asian. Because I was talking to Peter about being bullied for being an African American in a relatively white neighborhood, and that's like a pretty common occurrence.
Yeah.
Whereas like being Asian, I don't hear that. You don't hear that often.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be like slightly offensive in a little way.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just like completely joking though. I mean, like, so like you're brown, right?
Yeah.
So you understand the aroma of food.
Yeah.
So I would take my dumplings that my mom would meticulously wrap for me to give me my nutritious lunch. And bro, when I tell you, it was hell. It was hell going to school and eating that shit. Because I opened my container.
So they give you shit for the smell of it.
And
what you eat in Asian bowl, like that type of shit.
Exactly. Okay. The kids would be like, ooh. You're like, oh shit, what the fuck? And then like I don't know, somebody's friends could be on like other side of the cafeteria, and they would hear it and be like, "Oh shit, he opened it again." It was fucked.
Oh my god,
that shit would never pass.
I think that's funny. 10 years later, right now at our age, like I'm not gonna. This is not generalized for everyone, but a lot of white people be like, "Oh damn, like how do y'all use spices?
Exactly.
How do you use spice? Why does your food taste so good?" It's like because we use stuff like we add other things into it
all the way around. It's crazy, honestly. I always think back. I'm like, damn, we making fun of white people.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know this was possible. You know what I mean? I grew up with all of them, and I was like, you make fun of one of them, and oh shit, all the boys come up on you. So. I mean, dude, I would say I went through like a classic nerd's childhood through middle and elementary and middle school.
Sounds like me.
I'll get picked on for like being a nerd, so like the whole Asian thing. I wasn't good at sports.
It's like, you good at math, like that type of stuff.
Exactly, bro. Yeah, and it was so funny because like back then, I think this just has to do with like, I guess my like social intelligence. Mm-hmm. Back then, I think it was because honestly, like, I would make fun of myself just to, like, make people around me happy.
Right.
And back then, we didn't know any fucking better.
Yeah.
Fucking, they'd be like, oh, hi, you busted out the Asian food again. I'd be like, oh, haha, yeah. I forgot my chopsticks at home, dude. I'm sorry.
But when you play with it, it's like, it's a good way to, like, stop it from them to keep going. Exactly. Because once you start making fun of yourself, they're like, oh, like, he's in on the joke. Like, no, where do we go?
Exactly.
Where do we go from here? Like,
that's the only way to stop it. Bro.
Yeah, it really is. Oh, that sucks.
Especially
that sucks
with
so
these
bad.
savage ass kids. Yeah, it's probably. I mean, yeah.
So did dance come into your life in like earlier than high school? Was it around high school, or was it actually in college?
Yeah, it's funny because like when you were talking to me before, like in the beginning, you're like, I want to put a focus on dance and everything like that. I'm like, that shit didn't even come until like end of high school for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's when I started like the whole K-pop phase. Okay. I was in my room doing like K-pop dances and shit, looking bad.
K-pop is on the rise right now.
Yeah.
Two, their dancing is on a different level. There's I don't know if you've seen the song "Mic Drop" with Steve Aoki. It's a K-pop group, and like the choreography for that song, the dancing that they do is just on a different level.
Where?
It's like I want to say it's like almost Chris Brown level of like dancing, which that says a lot.
That's pretty good.
That says a lot.
Yeah, no, for a fact.
But the thing is, it's like 5 of them because they have the whole group thing, which I don't know. Do you know the reasoning behind that? Like, why is K-pop always like that group format?
In groups?
Yeah.
A big part of it is just a marketing tactic. It's like you get to have a different personality for each person, which a lot of the times is molded for media exposure. But it's like it gives fans a bigger chance of liking the group if they find a favorite amongst them.
Okay. That's actually that's kind of smart, but it's also kind of fucked up. Because like I know the way that they go about forming these groups is very forced.
Yeah.
The way it's managed is like record labels back in like the 70s and 80s, where it's like they kind of take all the money that they're bringing in.
A lot of it, yeah.
Yeah, which is it's messed up. But I think now because of like being able to put everything up on your own, I think it's like on the rise, like more on an individualistic level.
Yeah,
because I know I don't know if you know who Filthy Frank is or Joji.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you know who because a lot of people don't know Filthy Frank, and like I show them, they're like, "What is wrong with you?"
I'm internet woke, bro. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, like he's doing that whole thing with 88 Rising, with Rich Sugar and all of them, and like they're really like
love 88.
they're bringing it up, and like a lot more people are like, "Oh, this is pretty good. It's different, but this is cool."
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like it's more exposure to the culture. Not
Exactly. So when was it in high school that you got introduced to K-pop?
It was originally from my sister because she used to be a fangirl about that stuff.
Okay.
And I thought it was annoying at the time. But then, like, eventually I started listening to it a little bit, and I fell in love with Big Bang, which is, like, a huge K-pop group. Okay. And so I started doing, like, their dances and stuff, and we had a multicultural
So you're just, like, little Irving just in his room, just
download the fucking mirrored version of the dance
Good.
practice. I be playing.
That's commitment.
Yeah, bro. I was like, this is some really cool stuff. And I was always, like, the lame kid, so I was like, if I can't do sports, then I'm a...
Damn, that's pretty cool. That you were like, oh, like this is a way for me to, and I think, because I found that out way later on, so now I'm like more towards like being an adult. I still want to dance. I want to learn how to dance.
Yeah.
But like trying to learn now, I think it's almost analogous to trying to learn how to swim now, where it's kind of humiliating until you can do it because you're so old already. Because I can't swim either, and I don't want to learn how to swim at the same time.
That's a good point.
Because it's humiliating. Because you know you're going to suck at first.
It is.
Yeah.
It's completely humiliating.
When you're a kid, you have that, I don't care, like, I'm just learning. Like, no one's going to say anything to a little kid trying to do something new, really.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, though. Like, that's why I did everything. I taught everything, like, basically by myself. I'm not going to lie. Like, I can self-teach very well. Like, I taught myself... I would watch my dad do martial arts on the weekends. Like, he would still practice. I would watch him, and I'd learn, and I'd practice it later.
Do you know what kind of martial arts he did?
He did Taekwondo, yeah.
Taekwondo, okay.
And then
that's pretty heavy in Taiwan, right? It's a Taiwanese base. I'm
pretty sure. It's Korean.
Korean base,
yeah,
okay.
It's more...
There's, what is it? Is Muay Thai from... No.
That's Thailand.
That's Thailand, that makes sense, yeah. There's, what is from Taiwan? So for martial arts, I don't know, whatever.
It's hard to say nowadays, to be honest.
Well, I mean, in MMA, the two heaviest used forms of martial arts are Muay Thai and I want to say just wrestling are the two main components.
Yeah. A lot of Muay Thai in there.
Yeah, just because I think it's the most dynamic form of martial arts. Because mixed martial arts is it's everything. It's everything.
Yeah.
And Muay Thai is the one that's like can be used in the most circumstances.
Exactly. It's literally created for like kickboxing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So,
So you're in high school, you're learning how to dance. So this is like senior year of high school?
Now it's around like junior.
Okay.
Yeah. And the reason like I wanted to do it is because our multicultural club would put on performances and stuff like that we'd have a night. And I mean, I was like, fuck it, dude, I really want to like try. And so I started from there, taught myself like basic choreographies and stuff. Me and a couple friends would learn to dance too, and so that made it fun, right?
Because then you have support now.
Exactly.
Yeah, you got a bunch of people doing it together. It's not just you. You can't really get I feel like you can't get picked on as easily just because you have people backing you up too. Like you got people on your side.
Yeah, I mean the multicultural club was filled with outcasts anyways. Like we didn't have too many minorities.
Yeah.
So immediately we felt like, peace in that. And so like I it was in high school that I also like started to sing. Like literally I just watched other people. Like my sister, she was in the chorus, choir, everything like that. And I would listen to her and try and like.
How old is your sister?
She's a year and a half younger. She's 20.
Oh, she's younger. Okay, okay.
So, I mean, yeah, just listening to her. I mean, and like basically, like I told myself, I like martial arts, singing, dancing. And the thing was like not that like I'm so fucking proud, like I can do this. It's like. It's more the fact that I'm so happy that I didn't give a fuck if I looked terrible.
Right.
Because, dude, I used to sing sometimes for fun. My sister would tell me, like, stop squeaking. You know what I mean? Like, I sound like...
That's savage.
Like a rusty hinge, you know what I mean? Like, I was just like, it hurt at the time, but, like, we grew up in a family of tough love. So, like, it was just the fact that, like, you know what? I know I'm going to fucking blow at this right now.
Right.
But in the long term, like, it's going to come to fruition someday.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because, like, just this semester, after, like, 4 years working with my partner Carol Liu, who we sing together. We finally won like the best singing act for K Night.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Good shit.
After 4 years, and it was just like.
So you've done it all 4 years.
All 4 years,
okay.
yeah. We just practice,
Right.
and it was just like, it was really the mentality of like, do whatever you want to do, like nobody's there. You know, I used to sing, dance, like shit in front of everybody too. At all the parties and stuff like that, you know it when the white or Asian kid goes into the circle and everybody goes fucking bonkers. You're like, oh shit, you know, it's like that kind of effect that kind of like I guess made it easier for me to go in, but it all started from looking like shit. And
I mean, everyone starts at the bottom. No one starts amazing.
Exactly.
And I think it's. A big part of it is that you always see people that are successful or become something, and you don't think about the steps that they took to get there. Right? You see them where they are today, but where did they start? You know, like what did they originally do? Yeah. Kevin Hart's a great example. Like Kevin Hart's super successful. I'd say he's the most successful comedian that's ever lived. He sold out a football stadium. Like that's wild. That's crazy. And you know, I was watching an interview with him. He was talking about I think it was on Jerry Seinfeld's show, comedians in cars getting coffee.
Okay.
And they were talking about like his origin story and how he would do stand up and like no one would listen, and you know people make fun of him. They said he was bad, and like that to today, like that didn't just happen magically. He just kept going. He kept doing it. He just repetitions, iterations until something came about.
Exactly, and like that's the hugest, like the biggest thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're so rushed in our lifestyles, I feel like, that if we don't find success overnight, then we drop it.
Yeah.
A lot of us, like, do that. And I used to do that a lot.
Instant gratification.
Exactly. We want instant gratification. Our fucking brains are wired where if we don't get this dopamine release 20 minutes after I do some shit...
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
I'm done. It's over.
Exactly. And so this is where dance really taught me something. Is where I was told my first year, I went to a dance workshop, my first one, and I wanted to quit after the first class. But my friend told me these words. He said, every moment, so he said, you don't really grow until you're pushing yourself past the point where you want to stop.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly.
So there's like where your cap is right now, you always want to push yourself just a little bit more.
Exactly.
And the best analogy that a lot of people, because actually yesterday I talked to Pravin and James about lifting, because we always talk about lifting.
Yeah.
But lifting is a perfect analogy for that, where it's like every single time you go to the gym, and you know, you look at Pravin now, like he's a living example of that.
Yeah.
Like you go in, you put a little bit more work in than last time, you push yourself a little bit more, and it just compounds over time.
Exactly. And like, I mean, even if you lift the same weights over and over again, you start to lose muscle, right? That's something I heard. I don't know.
Well, not really. It depends. There's just a lot of factors. We talked about this extensively yesterday. But diet is one of the main things.
Yeah.
What you're doing. It's a lot of stuff.
I know there's a lot of stuff in that. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like I wasn't too good when I first started out too, and it was just. I mean, like, it's crazy because I looked up to so many people in the dancing community here because there's a fuck ton of talent here.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, for a STEM school, oh my god, it's wild. We have so much talent here, and the thing that I feel like what I want to say, I don't want to sound like big-headed, right? But like, I think one of the things that separated me from a lot of the people that I dance with, it was just like, I guess that mentality of like pushing you past where you want to stop.
I mean, I think it's because you've gotten adjusted. I feel like I scared you there.
No,
so, when you started, when you're so young, you already got adjusted to the fact that like you're going to suck. You might be bad today, but you could be better tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like I think because you had that from such an early age, like it's kind of stuck with you at this age where you're pushing yourself still.
Yeah, I was so lucky. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy because I wanna say like, I was part of like a golden age of dancing. Okay. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of the people that I did my first auditions with became some of the best dancers on campus. Okay. And like I don't want to bullshit anybody when like I say like I've really made my name here in the community, by the style I dance, the way I choreograph, etc. like that, and I try and pass down a lot of philosophies to the next generation.
Right. I mean, for the Casby performances for the last other than last year, the 2 years before that, I think you did the choreography for both those performances for a lot of the events during the year.
Yeah, I would usually have one choreography in the set. Okay. And like I would always get like really nice feedback and stuff like that, and it's crazy because like. I could feel that feedback, and I could feel really good about it because it was those dancers who understood like the choreography. They're like, oh shit, like nice. Yeah. They understand all the work that comes behind it. You know what I mean? And since like, and I really felt that from people who gave me the feedback, like people who I used to look up to and stuff like that, still look up to. But this next generation, it's like a lot of them. Let's see. A lot of them, from what I see nowadays, is like they'll see crazy choreography, but they'll never have it in their head that it could be done one day. Just because it won't come tomorrow. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I remember because I talked to you last year prior to the Casby performance, and I like tried to talk to you about like if you're choreographing it, if you're doing the routine, you're like, like I can't do it anymore. Like I don't want to deal with this. Like it's too much. Like it's a lot of weight. And on top of like how difficult it is to choreograph in general, if you're dealing with people who don't really want to put in that work to learn all of these moves, because it's gonna take time. Yeah. Like also because Casby is a very large group of dancers. Yeah. For those of you who are listening who don't know what Casby is, what does it stand for?
Chinese Association at Stony Brook.
Oh, okay.
And the dance team is called CDT, basically Casby Dance Team.
Casby Dance Team. Yeah. And how many people are there in the? Because there's a lot. I want to say there's like 30
was
plus.
A lot. Yeah. During my years, is hovering around 30.
Yeah. Okay. So that was about right. So yeah, staying at 30 people, choreographing that many people, and also I think you were the group that has the most succinct performance in terms of like all the people are kind of in sync.
That's crazy.
I think it was a little off last year without you, but no, I'm playing. But like choreographing that many people, if you have just one or two people who don't cooperate, who don't put in the same amount as the person right next to them, the whole thing falls apart. Yeah. Because now it looks off. Like you could see that one person that's kind of ruining the the succinctness of everyone else.
Yeah, it's a big thing, and it's just all about checking yourself. You know, making sure you're on the right page, you're listening and stuff like that. Right. And I'm gonna do a quick shout out. She'll probably never hear this, but I was on e-board, and I was doing like a pretty lackluster job in the beginning, where I would like do my homework on the side and study on the side and shit. And then she like chewed me out one day in our e-board group chat. Her name is Stephanie Flanagan. Shout out to you, Steph. But she chewed me out in the group chat one day, and she was just like, "Dude, you're a fucking director. Like
act like it type of thing."
Exactly. Yeah, okay. You don't find leaders doing their own shit on the side. They're the ones running the vision. Right. Like coordinating the path. And I was like, it's crazy because, like, I didn't realize that, And I feel like a lot of people don't really understand how important it is to become and look like a leader.
I mean, you have to lead by example.
Lead by example. That's the biggest thing. Yeah. The biggest, like, like, I remember some advice given to me is like, if you're gonna do anything, be a leader of anything in life, it's practice what you preach. And literally, you have to keep track of what you say, because once you slip up, everybody slips up.
Yeah, because they'll see it. They'll see it, and it'll reflect on how they feel about whatever the group is doing.
Exactly, dude.
Right.
And like, it was really hard to deal with at the time, but eventually, like, it showed. It was like, it was just, they made all the difference, basically. People respected me as a leader and stuff like that. Okay,
so I'm going to switch it back a little bit now.
Sure.
So we're going to go back into education. So for your decision to come to Stony Brook, right? So then we could also focus on dance once we get to Stony Brook. Because like you said, you went junior and senior years when you were practicing, kind of prepared yourself to get to Stony Brook and fuck shit up. Right, so coming from an Asian, immigrant family background, I'm assuming they push going to great school, going to college and all that stuff. What really pushed your decision to end up at this school? And then, after you got here, the decision for your major, all the stuff, school oriented, and then alongside, like, how you became an RA, and then how you started balancing that with dance on top. Yeah. Because you're balancing a lot of things here. Also, really quick, before I get into that, I'm going to open the window because it's starting to get really hot.
Yeah, it's hot.
I know, my room ends up really hot every time I do one of these. Yeah. I can't turn the AC on because then you just hear the AC.
The humming noise, right? Yeah. And if I ever like stray too far off the path.
Yeah, no, that's my job. Don't worry.
Yeah, exactly. Bring me back because sometimes I feel like, oh damn, I'm just talking.
No, I've had enough guests on the show so far. I'm gonna put myself back in shot right there. Okay, I've had enough guests on the show where it's like, I've gotten used to when people lose their place. I didn't even close this. I didn't realize. When people lose their place, but yeah, I've gotten used to like building your timeline's in my head right now.
Okay, perfect.
All right, so we're in junior and senior year of high school, and we're making the decision. I'm saying we like I'm you right now.
Yeah, that's cool, bro. You part of my life.
The decision to come to college and how you ended up at Stony Brook.
So I originally I was really pushed and influenced by like my family and my like high school tutor who I was very close at the time. They all pushed me to do medicine. And so I applied to Sophie Davis, didn't get in. I applied to like Cornell, didn't get in. And back then, not gonna lie, I was hot-headed. It took me a long time to humble myself. Okay. I was hot fucking headed, and I was like, oh, I'll just get into one of these good schools, like, I'll be fine. And like, I get these rejections.
As a hit to the ego?
Exactly, yeah.
Dude, it's literally every single time I'm talking to someone from Stony, they're like, I thought it was tough shit, and I ended up at Stony Brook, or I couldn't afford anything else, so I ended up at Stony Brook. Yeah. There's no one like, I really wanted to go to Stony Brook, and I got there.
Exactly. Right.
It's so sad. It feels so bad every time.
That's an SBU story right there. Honestly, that's the
it's literally page. Everyone.
Yeah. And like, it was honestly, I didn't even feel too bad about it, because my cousin went here, so I had a sense of comfort. Yeah. The fact like, oh, I know, someone who went there, and fucking they could show me the ropes or something. Yeah. She didn't show me the ropes
at all.
But yeah, so the decision was just like, I know I'm doing science. It's cheap.
And do you think doing the research in high school like really pushed your decision later on to be like, I want to do science, something in bio or something in chemistry, whatever it may be?
Yeah, the research really, really influenced me, because my research mentor, who like he was like a dictator, right? Yeah, he was scary as fuck. But he did it just to like toughen us kind of thing. Very old school. And like, I could probably never get rid of the psychological trauma he caused, but I'll always like literally, dude, this guy, honestly, he was, I thought, the smartest motherfucker alive. And I mean, he probably is. But he like pushed me to like really learn the nitty gritty shit of bio. And I was like, dude, this stuff is cool as hell. Right. And there was a protein challenge we used to do back in high school that was hosted here. And I've seen Stony Brook already because of it.
Oh, it's that like open you already had your eyes open to like what college looks like and all that stuff.
Stony Brook. So I was just like, hey man, like this is cool shit. Like the whole bio thing, it was really him, my AP bio teacher, all my science teachers. They were all the funny ones. Oh, okay. They were all the funny ones. I'm telling you, one of my grad courses, my professor opened up the class with what, in a survey of America, what was like the most favorite trait most favorite. Fuck me. What was like the most desired trait of a teacher, and what was the least desired? Number one desired was humor, and number one least desired was dullness, basically. Because that's what, like, and then
you fall asleep. Then you get the class naps, which are usually by far the best naps.
Yeah.
You know the ones where you're like, oh shit.
Bro, yeah.
Like I'm fuck shit. like
yeah, man.
I don't know what it is, but those in class naps where you hear the monotone voice coming into your ear just sedates you.
Yeah,
it really like literally just sedates you. Like you just fall out of it.
It's crazy, bro. You used to tell me like, oh no, this teacher will tranquilize you, man. like it was really that crazy, but like they were the funny ones. And so I was like, fuck it, I want to be like cool science teacher one day, and that was like the surface level stuff. You know what I mean? And but yeah, I went to college. I was like, all right, pre-med, I guess.
I guess.
Yeah, I know. Dude, fuck me, I guess. I didn't know anything about being a doctor. I didn't know anything about medicine. I was nowhere, like, ambitious enough to be a doctor, you know what I mean? Like, just saying about all the work.
Yeah, I mean, that a lot of people don't get until later on down the line in college. And I think that's a thing that I've been, because I've talked to a lot of people who know people who are going to middle school or have planned or that didn't go, and it's a big message that I want to send out to like a lot of people out there is like medical school is a commitment. Like Colby knew that was a commitment like early on. Like his parents like told him, like he understood that he was going to school for 8 years, then doing a residency. Like you got to know, like that's 8 years of your life.
Yeah.
Like you can't come to college and be like, oh, I guess I'll be a doctor.
I know, right? Yeah.
You can't really. It's not the same. It's not the same as other majors because if you want to go down that path, you got to know you want to go down that path. You got to have the GPA for it, the test scores for it. Like you got to be. It's a good way to put this. You got to stand out in a sea of people trying to stand out.
Yeah, basically.
And that's rough. Like that is, and all those people want it. People that are going to med school, they want it. You got to want it more than them.
Exactly, that's a big thing, and it's like imagine you go through like most of that. Imagine the depression that will come if you drop out.
Yeah.
Like all those wasted years, shit like that.
Woo. Like Rami's a great example because I'm trying to get Rami on, but he's so busy I can't even like schedule him. I need him on the show because that boy puts in work, man. He dropping straight hundreds on Orgo exams, like multiple exams, like everyone in the class knows him. Everyone, literally almost every exam he's taken. And for those of you who don't know, or don't go to Stony Brook, like Stony Brook, like Orgo it's a weed out course. It is in every other school too, but here it's like you fail, that's on you. And like this goes back to the resource thing where it's like Stony Brook doesn't care if you're a C student. They're not gonna hold your hand through that. Yeah. You're either like A student, you're top of the class, you're gonna kill it, or like you're failing. Like it doesn't matter.
A lot of it,
And Rami like back to back is killing it, like hundreds, top of the league, top of the scoreboards, leaderboards of grades, right?
Yeah.
And every time I see the kid, he's just like, I just gotta pull an all-nighter to get these grades. Like I just have to do it.
Yeah, that's his favorite line.
And he's just like he takes it, like he just knows that he needs to do that. And like a lot of people can't do that. I can't do that. I'll attest to it. Like I've done one all-nighter, and it wasn't even to be productive. It was because everyone else around me was doing an all-nighter, and I was like, I'll study. I was bothering people.
I'd be that person too.
I can't commit to an all-nighter. I couldn't do it. I'd rather sleep and do bad. So I wouldn't make it to medical school. I wouldn't have the grades for it.
I mean, it's crazy, right? Yeah, it's really like a special skill to do it all-nighter. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that's the whole thing with medical school, man. I was just not ready for it.
Yeah, it's an early on like decision. You need to know. To know.
And it's the anxiety of like constantly making sure your grades are there.
Yeah.
Bro, I was taking my Scholars 101 course. Literally, like the chapter quizzes, I didn't know the glass was either pass or fail, and it didn't count it to your GPA.
Yeah,
bro, I would get a 92 on a quiz or some shit. I start going like, I go on the walls and like drag myself down. It was real at the time. Like the anxiety was fucking.
That used to happen to me freshman year, man. When I used to do bad on tests, like I come back and like I start hitting things. I was like, fuck, like why did that happen? And there's just one time where Pravin gave me a lesson. He was like, dude, like, you do the best you can. You just did it. Like, you did it. You just got to do it better next time if you don't do well. Yeah. And, like, you got to be mentally, like, you got to have that solitude. Like, I got to be up for it. Because in college, like, shit hits you. Like, shit goes wrong all the time.
Yeah, and like, nobody's there to hold your fucking hand.
Exactly.
Like, you got to be your own rock sometimes, man. And, like, it's, fucking, woo, what was I going to say?
Solitude, rock, mental fortitude.
Rock, man. Be a rock. Yeah, something like that.
Med school.
Yeah, but I mean, something like that. It's gone. Yeah, no, it's completely gone.
All right, so I want to switch it back to so when did you decide your major? Because you did do pre-med track, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so when did you decide that you were gonna keep going with it and kind of pursue the whole medical field?
Yeah, so it was in high school. Basically, I was just like, Mom, I'm not sure exactly what I want to do. I don't know if I want to be a teacher or a doctor. And so, like, at the moment, I was just like, oh, fuck it, I'll be pre-med for now. It stopped fall semester. Once that was done.
First semester, fall semester?
First fucking semester.
Really?
Bro.
Oh, damn.
I was like, no, fuck it. And, like, look, somebody I really got to owe to help me, like, guide myself to what I really want to do. Because, like, me growing up, it was the immigrant family who was just like, we need money. with the money, right? And it was just like, oh man, fuck, like I hear all this shit about teachers not getting paid, doctors and ching ching. And then so it was really hard to understand, like, oh, I can do what I want in this life.
Yeah.
And it was really my ex at the time, who really showed me, like, do what you want to do. And she taught me that. It was insane. Oh my God, bro! I could spend a whole fucking day talking about her and like how much she changed.
Talk about whatever you think is important.
Well, I mean,
That's what we're here for.
So just real quick, like we dated back in high school for about a year and a half. She was top of the line of her class in a top of the line school on Long Island. She went to Great Neck South. Her name was Sherry, and while we were dating at the time, she put in, bro. If you thought Rami was pulling all nighters, oh my God, she was pulling all nighters. To the point where it was not good for her well-being at all. Like, she's probably shortened her life by a good 2 decades. But
holy crap. She
was valedictorian of the school. Like, she got like 2.5 hours of sleep a night. She did that shit for like
There's actually a podcast I listened to recently with Morgan, who's talking to a sleep doctor. When it comes to sleep, you know how people try to do the thing where it's like you sleep a lot less on one day and then you sleep more another day?
That's terrible.
That doesn't work like that at all, apparently.
God.
Like, the biomarkers for a lot of, like, diseases later on in life and, like, health issues are very highly correlated to just having really bad sleep patterns. Sleep is super important for mood regulation, for just general capabilities, functioning, cognition, all that stuff.
Yeah, dude.
All that stuff.
We got a fucking new major here, the sleep studies.
Really?
Health science, yeah.
Dude, that's cool. That's really
specialization now,
That's really interesting.
It's so important.
Health, I think, right now, when it comes to the medical field, it's approaching or breaking the barrier of how tech started exponentially growing. I think that's happening right now in the medical field.
What do you mean, like text?
Like, you know how when technology, like when we started, was it the transistor? Like, transistor
happened,
the
transistor,
right? And then just, like, things just, like, keep coming, like, you know what I mean? And right now, it's like technology is outdated every 2 years.
Boom.
You know, like, it's exponential. It just keeps getting like, crazier and crazier.
Yep.
So when it comes to the medical field, like, we were kind of in, like, the archaic ages of medicine, where it's like, hey, you just take the shot, or like this, or that.
It seems very archaic, right?
Yeah, no, or like these pills. It's like very brute force. Like, you take antibiotics, it's like, oh, let's just like nuke your entire gut.
Yeah,
all the bacteria.
Yeah.
I took antibiotics and like I was constipated for like a week because like I just had no like good bacteria anymore in my stomach. Right? But now it's like with all the technology we have, we're starting to use that plus studies and like analytics, coupling it with medicine, trying to figure out solutions that are more efficient or more attuned to the human body.
Yeah, just like nicer treatments.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Know what I mean? It's crazy. Just talking about like medicine and stuff like that. Since we're so medically focused at SBU, it was cool to learn about the medicine and the research that's developed here without having to like worry about it being my career later on. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, oh shit, they're talking about some cool research. I should go suck up to them and be like, I really love your research, man. Can I work in your lab? Like, and then just tack on another thing on the resume. You know what I mean? Like, I could just love it for being bio.
Yeah.
And as a teacher, you kind of love your content area, right? I would hope so. And it was just like, that was an amazing part when I decided to become a teacher. It was
that's the decision you made after your first semester?
After my first semester, I was like, fuck it, dude, I'm going to grad school for teaching.
Okay.
And from there on out, everything became like so, I guess so fun, so easy to love.
You became passionate about whatever you were doing.
Exactly.
Wow, that was a horrible articulation. Whatever it was that you were doing.
Yeah, no, exactly like that. And a lot of people just not out here doing what they want to do.
Yeah.
I'll go through all my classes and all my friends will say they'll hate it. But I'm gonna be like, hey, that's going on an A+ on my course eval. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Like, you took something away from it. Like, there was actual enjoyment
Exactly.
from it. Yeah.
Exactly. It's not just a grade number.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking, it's really hard because there's a lot of cool shit going on right now.
Yeah.
Just the other day, one of the professors from my grad course, she's working with, like, big pharma. Like, hundreds of millions of dollars are being poured into her project right now.
What's your project?
It's for cancer therapy.
Okay.
And it's just like, a lot of the people around me don't really care about it. Because a lot of them aren't really in tune with the bio side of teaching. Because they didn't really go to undergrad here. They go to grad school here for the whole teaching technique aspect. So they won't really be like, oh yeah, I love bio.
Okay.
But coming from Stony Brook, somewhere so bio focused, you know, you can understand the shit that she's talking about.
Okay.
And
because, I mean, a lot of the courses that they give us are not, like, undergraduate courses. Like, they're, like, upper echelon, like, difficulty. Like, you're taking basically graduate courses here.
It's some tough shit.
Yeah.
Some really tough shit. Like, it really competes with Ivies in terms of our STEM program.
Yeah, 100%. I'd say we, other than the title, we have Ivy League difficulty with a SUNY amount of resources.
Yeah, that label.
Yeah.
The SUNY label, like, really dicks us down.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
it sucks, but, I mean, we learn a lot. I guess it's a good thing.
Yeah, you learn a lot. Basically, you learn a lot, bro. And it's that stuff that's going to push you farther in your career.
Yeah.
Like, name a teacher that you love that didn't spit out, like, some crazy fun facts sometimes. You know what I mean? That's the shit that you get from the extra learning.
Teaching is one of the best examples of being passionate. I feel like you can't be a good teacher unless you, like, love what you're doing. Like you were saying, like, the funny ones were the ones that you kind of, like, deviated towards.
Yeah.
Like, all the teachers that I really remember that were good teachers were the ones that enjoyed teaching.
Yeah.
Because, like, they just wanted to do it. They wanted to inspire these little kids or, like, you know, say all this stuff about math or history or whatever it may be because they love that subject matter just talking about it.
Yeah, bro. Like, completely that. Fucking, do you want to see a teacher walk in with a shaking hand, cup of coffee, and, like
just hating life?
Yeah, like, this is the 6th one today. Let's get through this one, boys. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the energy of the content just, like, carries me through.
And then you go through the nap. You start getting sedated again.
Yeah. That's the thing, though. And it's, so, like, this is where I feel like, on top of teaching being my dream job, it was all the experiences that I got to have in my life teaching me about all this other different shit. Because, like, well, just to go back to the dance thing, like, you don't see really, like, teachers, you know, someone's like, when I say I want to be a teacher, like, you don't really imagine them being on the dance team.
Right.
A lot of
you imagine someone that's just, like, has cats, no friends.
Has a family at home or some shit. Like, they come back like, honey, I'm home. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's really cool to do a lot of different shit here. Because not gonna lie, people at Stony Brook, we're not, like, your geniuses.
Yeah, or you're just a bum boy.
And yeah, we're not hood rats either. Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, we could act like hood rats, but you know, we're not like, you know, shitters. You know,
technically we're from Queens. It's fine.
Queens, yo, Queens. But yeah, we're kind of in that awkward middle part.
Yeah,
we're like, we kind of don't really know where we at.
Yeah,
and we're just like normal people, you know.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, we're literally just normal people, and that's what makes SBU students so chill. I think so. Yeah.
Everyone's like, not to put it in a bad way, but everyone's kind of like average.
Yeah.
No one's like, oh, like, I'm coming from this background and, like, doing this crazy stuff. And no one's like, oh, like, I have absolutely nothing. It's, like, perfectly... Like, a lot of... And I've talked to so many people so far. Like, almost everyone that I've talked to has a very similar background, very similar mentality, and, like, approach to the things that they do.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of factors is, one, the fact that it's a SUNY, it, like, draws in that type of, you know, familial background, and then 2 is just being close to New York and the people that it drags in here. You know, being so close to the city, like, it's just a lot of people from very similar backgrounds.
Yeah, dude, completely that. Like, the diversity here is crazy.
It is just crazy. You won't get it anywhere else. You really won't.
I'm telling you, like, fucking dude. Until my best friends included, like, some brown people. Shout out to my Pakistanis.
Hey.
Like, and, like, my Muslim friends. Like, I didn't know shit about that in high school. Yeah. And I guarantee you a lot of people who go to college will never be exposed to some of that stuff.
And it's actually, that's a funny you mentioned that, because one of my guests, Ayan, shout out to Ayan, he was on the podcast. He actually has his own podcast. It's called What Muslims Look Like. Hey. The entire purpose of it is, like, we don't look like anything.
Exactly.
We're just people. They're just out there.
Exactly.
Like for me, it's like I look like if anything, you think I'm Caribbean. I think I'm like Guyanese or Trinidad.
I could see that. Yeah, totally.
So like that the assumption that a Muslim looks like a certain thing is just wrong. So
it's crazy.
Until you're exposed to that, like you're gonna have these assumptions.
Exactly.
But coming from this background, being at Stony Brook and getting exposed to that diversity really changes like your perspective on being able to talk to people.
Exactly, and it all depends on like whether or not you're talking to these people.
Yeah.
Whether or not you reach out.
Yeah.
And like being an RA, we're forced to reach out.
Mm-hmm.
So this shit, oh man, it really speaks volumes on how much you can learn from people, right? Like, oh my god, it's so funny. Like that, I didn't know what like halal or haram or fucking like. Like people talking about shadi and shit. I'm like, oh, what's that? And like, oh yeah, I'm getting married. Like,
it's different. It's a very different culture.
Different, very fucking different, man.
But that's a good segue because you're talking about being an RA. So when did you make the decision to become an RA? And it's a tough decision because I also freshman year. And for those of you who don't know, like me and Irving have been friends since freshman year. It kind of sucks that we never actually had to sit down and have this conversation.
Yeah, we never sat down like that.
Glad we're having this right now.
Yeah.
But freshman year, I actually wanted to be an RA too. Mm-hmm. I went to you're supposed to go to like 2 events or something like that.
Yeah, information.
And and then apply and all that. But then they hit me with you got to move out. We pick your room. You don't have a decision. All that stuff, right?
What the fuck?
No, isn't that how it is? Right?
Wait. Oh,
like you don't get to pick your room. Like they'll tell you what location. Yeah. I was
like, wait, they kicked you out?
No.
Yeah.
Like they tell you like the next year, like if you did become an RA, they would tell you where you would be a residence at and all that stuff. So that's a big decision. I didn't make that decision because of the room I was in, the people I was around. I was like, I can't leave this, right?
You and
202 family.
The gang, the gang.
If I left that, my life would be completely different. It wouldn't be where it is today.
I see all your photos going through college, bro. Like
it's literally just all of us doing the same shit together, and then also growing at the same time.
That's fantastic.
But I didn't make that decision, but you did. So like, what pushed you to make that decision?
Well, first of all, shout out to my first RA, Masuma.
Mm-hmm. She's dope. She was really cool. I haven't talked to Masuma before.
Bro, I fucking love Masuma, and oh god, I forgot. I need to hang out with her. But I always dub her, bro. It's so bad. But she was so nice and so good and so on top of her shit. I was like, oh my god, I want to be like one. Mm-hmm. And that was really, it's whenever people like, honestly, it's not hard. I'd say it's not very common for people to like want to be an RA.
And be helpful. And
like, not even that, but really understand the meaning of the job.
Mm-hmm. You're supposed to be someone that helps, because it's always upper classmen. So you're supposed to like help all these people that are in your building, because I think you're usually dealing with lower classmen, right?
It could be a mix.
Oh, really? Okay, never mind then. But you are working with your residents, kind of building a community. Exactly. I think that's important.
Exactly.
Because I remember I was actually when I was at Hamilton that other time. You're making cookies for your entire all your residences because it was finals or something. Something like that. Yeah. So people are stressing me like I'm gonna make them cookies. Those are bomb cookies. Those are good cookies. Yeah. So like you went out of your way to make them cookies, and I think the fact that you want to be a teacher like that, I think ties it together. Like you want to have that influence, like be a positive vibe to people.
Yeah, bro. Like just helping out and stuff like that. It's where. It like the parts where the job really matters is where it really shines and becomes rewarding.
Right.
I'm shitty at bulletin boards. I'll slap on some fucking.
At least you're not Peter. Peter goes, I've been like 2 weeks behind. I haven't put my bulletin board.
Oh yeah, dude. Like
he's not been doing the work recently.
It's so crazy because like we all applied, right?
Yeah.
And like we were friends from the beginning. We all fucking blow at bulletin boards. You look at Rami's. Oh my god, they look
amazing.
Cooked boys. No, they were.
Oh, they were bad.
They were bad, bro. And we'd make fun of it too. Because like, hey, yo. Who can do theirs later? Like, who can do theirs more last minute? It was so fucking bad,
Oh my god!
But we do the job where it matters, and this ties into where I want to be when I want to be a teacher. Why? Little backstory, right? So when I was going through school, my teachers never asked me how I was ever doing. Literally, my house could go on fire, and I could be like drooping the
and they're just like, pay attention.
Yeah, and they're just like, hey, stop falling asleep.
Yeah.
Right? And it was crazy because the first teacher that asked me was one that I didn't like. And she was my econ teacher, and like I fell asleep really bad during classes because I would get no sleep because it was too much work and shit. And one day she asked me, hey, are you okay? You know what I mean? And from there on out, I swore that I'd never sleep in her class ever again. Because she was the only teacher that ever
that much
asked.
influence.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Those little events like really change a lot.
They change, bro. They change everything. And it's where the same thing, since we're going back to RA, it's those moments where, like, you someone may be like a dick, right? And the number one philosophy in my life is that people are only assholes because they need love.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so with RA, the part where it really matters is where you reach out to people with, like, you know, things that they don't really necessarily talk about.
Right.
They don't expose. They're not open to talk about. And, like, it's all masked behind. And it's hard for people to reach out to them because, like, they act like assholes, right? Right. And so I go through a lot of depression and stuff like that. And when I was growing up, like, mental illness was like a stigma. It wasn't talked about, everything like that.
Yeah, it's not the same as it is today.
Exactly. And, like, our family has a history of terrible depression.
Okay.
Yeah, it's affected our family a lot. And
wow.
like
it's a genetic, like, you know that it like runs in your family, like
it runs in our family. Okay. Like it's crazy. Affected a lot of our relationships growing up. It was like, I mean, this is kind of like a big thing, but, like, in our family, a lot of people don't know, like, my grandfather took his own life.
Oh, wow.
And so, like, that was something else that really affected me.
Shit.
And growing up, through high school, it was just like, I didn't realize I was depressed until college. And then someone asked me, like, I think you should go see someone because of the way I was acting. And it's like, I thought to myself, I could have stopped this earlier if someone had just, you know, asked me, like, what's up, talk to me. Yeah. And that's what I'm really there for. That's what really matters. Where if what is it?
Someone has a problem or something.
Exactly.
Like that.
And not everybody's there to catch it, because I went through a lot of the same shit that a lot of, like, you know, especially immigrant families grew up. Just the struggle and all these problems. And I want to be there for them, basically.
If you don't catch it in the early stages, it could snowball.
Exactly,
it could snowball.
Bro. It's the same mentality with police. No, not police. Fucking, I guess other jobs where it's like, I want to stop the kids from going to prison instead of taking care of them at prison. It's like, I want to stop the kids growing up with, like, you know, depression and, like, just a toxic life before they go out and be productive.
You wanna try to kind of stop the resentful like anger or whatever before it gets so bad that they make decisions that they could have not made. Like,
exactly.
Something that could have been stopped that just didn't get stopped.
Exactly.
With, like, a simple question.
Yeah, that's really it. Like, that's the whole thing with I would say our country's, like, very.
I mean, it's, you know, in our country there's this thing, and I was actually talking about this yesterday with someone, is there's this idea that if you can't handle a situation, you're weak. Or, you know, you
that's
just,
a big part, yeah.
You don't know, it's on you, like, there's something wrong, or you should take a pill and just, like, it'll fix the situation. Yeah. And people are scared to talk about it to someone. Like, I've you know, this is, like, I'm okay with mentioning things, like, this is my show and stuff, but, like, I don't tell a lot of people this, and I haven't told anyone this until recently, and, like, I thought about it, I was like, it's not that big a deal. Like, I've gone to CAPS before. Like, as a college student, that's not that big a deal. And it shouldn't be that big a deal. Yeah. If you're really stressed, if you don't know what you're doing, and you need to talk to someone, I can go talk to someone. Yeah. I had one conversation. That was it. I didn't have to go back. I just, like, said it out loud, talked to them, got their person's perspective, not a friend, not family, just someone that doesn't know me. Exactly. Unbiased perspective. And I was, like, able to analyze everything in a different facet.
I got a fucking appointment tomorrow, bro.
Yeah, so it's not a big deal, but people, I think, old, like, you know, the old mentality, old generation is like, just toughen up, and I can see where they're coming from, like, given it, like, an immigrant background, because they went through a lot more hell than us. But, like, for our generation, like, if we have a problem, like, it doesn't matter what someone else deems as a problem. It's your problem.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a big thing, bro. Yeah, yeah. And, like, the whole stigma with, like, going to counseling and stuff like that. Oh my god.
Dude, everyone got therapists. Like, when they're older, a lot of people got therapists.
Yeah, a lot of people got therapists.
Fix it when you're young, so you don't gotta pay for one when you're older.
Oh my god, that's what I'm talking about, bro. Oh my god, that's it right there. If I could put that on a piece of fucking paper, man.
I'm not trying to pay for it when I'm older. I'll do it right now. Fix it, so I, like, know what I'm doing. I'm solid, and then when I'm older, like, I'm good. Yeah. Like, I'm ready for anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god. See, that was so good. Like, damn, we got 10 free sessions here. Yeah. But once we out, We gonna be paying bills. Yeah.
Hundreds? Nah, I'm not doing that. I don't got money like that yet.
Right?
I'm in debt. I don't got money like that.
Develop your coping mechanisms to your stress now. Develop like a positive lifestyle, a growth mindset, growth versus fixed. You know all about that?
Yeah, I think so. You could elaborate
it's like fixed mindset is that you take challenges as like, you take criticism as like personal. You take challenges as obstacles you don't want to like delve into.
Versus you take it as like something you could change or look at or just constructive
or long term things like that. And fucking dude, they don't teach us how to be like necessarily people in school. You know what I mean?
It's more of like a cog. Like you're just a cog in the system.
I'm a fucking cog, bro. I'm just grinding and doing what I have to do in society.
But you know, you are a person. There's a lot going on in your head.
Exactly.
There's a lot. It's a complicated brain.
Every person matters, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, I told you that before. You're like, yo, you want me on the show? Like, dude, everyone has a story.
Oh my god, that was crazy. I'm telling you. That was crazy. You know, every person
has a story. So we're coming up on a little bit more than an hour. So wrap it up. Last section is what you're doing now. So we're just like, are you in your last year? Or are you taking another year here?
Taking another year for my master's. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you can finish it with a master's in 5 years.
Yeah.
Damn, because look at this guy. Right, so you're spending another year. So the last section is just you discussing what your plans are for the like upcoming future, both short and long term. So one is for school, like being a teacher and stuff like that. Where you see that, and then two is, do you ever see yourself doing something professionally in dancing or singing or anything like that?
I see. Damn. So I mean, I guess short term, I'm doing my last year OL this summer, orientation leader. Sorry. And I mean, I plan to make great. And the next semester, I'm doing student observations where I get sent to a school and just watch the teacher.
Okay.
Something like real relevant and cool shit. That is pretty cool. Yeah, and from there on out, try and get my degree, get my teaching certifications, etc. Find my ass in a full-time job.
Nice. Okay. Solid plan.
Yeah, I mean, that's really where I'm going now. And basically just, you know, all the fun stuff will come along the way.
Yeah.
You can't really plan for that.
Yeah.
As long as you just, like, you know, be a cool person. Long-term, professionally dancing and singing.
Do you ever consider it?
No, not really. Like, I just want to keep singing with Carol, my singing partner for so long. Like, we were like, I told her once, I was like, you know, when we die.
Okay, I didn't think I was gonna start there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's how you want to start, right? I was like, yo, when we die, we're gonna have to tell each other what song we want each other to sing over our tombstones.
Oh damn, that's mad cute.
Yeah, and that was like, man, I can't say that, but like, it's just really irreplaceable. Or, you know,
I mean, it's a different relationship. It's like I talked to Kenny and Goko about their like singing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a different bond. Like I'm tight with Goko and all that. It's different though. You sing with someone because it's like you're sharing a passion.
Exactly.
So it's just completely different.
Same thing with dancing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, professionally, I don't really think so, but
they'll always stay a passion.
Yeah, I'll always stay passionate. They'll always teach me something about life, and they'll always keep me humble. You know what I mean?
Nice. All right. And the last thing is what I like doing is I like having my guests saying like one quote or something that you deem very important for all the guests that are out there. It could be anything that's like super simple, like something you think is just like kind of important. It could be super serious. I had Tomas on for one of the episodes, and he goes, "Listen to your mom," and I'm like, "That's valid.
That's valid.
It's not even wrong. Valid. Like it's just a good point."
Damn, I fucked with that.
Exactly.
Let's see.
You can take your time.
Oh man, I got through all like the critical lens essays going through my head. No, I'm playing. Okay, yeah, no, I fucks with it. Okay, so yeah, I learned this back in high school. So it was, love is the only thing that you can give away and have more of.
Wow. I feel like I say wow to all of them, but everyone's quote is like, because it comes from a different place for everyone, and I like how it's always very like very parallel to whatever they were talking about the entire podcast. So that one I feel like it's pretty parallel to what you're talking about.
This is pretty relevant. Thank you, dude.
So that wraps it up. Thank you for all those who tuned into the podcast. Like, share, subscribe, all that usual stuff. Thanks for watching. Peace out.